So let's introduce ourselves just to properly introduce the episode. So hello everyone. Welcome to I'm not sure what this is called yet. I would say the Words Are Hard podcast, but this isn't really strictly Words Are Hard related. This is something else we're trying. If you can tell by the title, I'll probably make sure the title implies what this is about. We are going to play some Dungeons and Dragons, specifically the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. With me, I have Amy.
Hello.
I have Ash.
Hi.
And we also have Karto with us.
Greetings.
And Anima.
Hello.
So, I will be DMing this game. For those of you who don't know what that means, I will be dungeon mastering. You can see it as sort of a storyteller, and everyone else is a character in this story. I guess let's get started. Let me just pull up the notes that I closed earlier, and I shouldn't have done. We did set up our characters earlier, and we did have to make sure a few things were prepared for them before we actually start this adventure. One of them is that all the characters know each other. How exactly they met, we can leave that a little bit ambiguous. Maybe we'll kind of make it up as we go. Maybe we'll put some pieces together. That being said, you all are in the town of Waterdeep. Let me just show you a nice map of Waterdeep. It is known as the Crown of the North. It is the market central of the world in the Forgotten Realms, or Faerun, I believe that's what this world is called. I might get people correcting me if there are anyone that comments on these videos. But pretty much almost anything can be bought and sold in Waterdeep. If there's something you want, one of the markets in Waterdeep will have it. Adventurers are seen as... or hold in high regard here, mostly because many of the city's most esteemed citizens are former adventurers, and the city has been saved countless times by adventurers.
That does tend to help, yes.
As people that have been living here for a little bit now, we'll leave how long up to your party. You know that while this is pretty much a bastion of market commerce and just adventuring in general, the law is held in high regard here. Laws are very much enforced very strictly, and you know that breaking the law is a very fast way to either get yourself arrested or executed by the guards. So that's just something you know, that maybe it would be a good idea to just, follow the laws, or at least make sure when you're out in public you follow all necessary laws. Right now, your party finds itself in one of the more popular areas of the town. This is the tavern known as the Yawning Portal. What's very interesting about this tavern and inn, I forgot to mention, is that there's just this really big hole in the middle of it.
So that's the black circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we're sitting right next to it.
Yes, you're sitting right next to it.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to throw your empty drinks?
It is an attraction. What you know about this is that there is a sort of plank that leads into a pulley system where it looks like one creature can stand on it and be lowered into the hole. What you do know about this hole is that it leads into a subterranean city known as Undermountain. I believe that's the name for it. And if it isn't, it is now. That's how DMing works. But at the moment, you know that it kind of abounds with a few dangers. Only the more tougher adventurers dare to take the path to Undermountain. So while you are curious about it, you don't really feel compelled to go down there, at least not at the moment. You sit around a sturdy wooden table lit by a brightly burning candle and littered with plates cleared of food and half-drained tankards. The sound of gamblers yelling and drunken adventurers singing bawdy songs nearly drown out the off-key strumming of a young bard 3 tables over. Let's pretend there's a young bard 3 tables over and that this map isn't mostly empty.
Okay, so it's full of invisible people. Got it.
Yep, exactly. This is actually one of the more like I said, it's one of the more popular areas of Waterdeep. So it's kind of flooded with people. And you see people of all different races and cultures, and it's just a very colorful area. And you've been in Waterdeep enough to be somewhat of a regular in this tavern. You do notice by the counter, I'm just pulling up his name, which I don't have. Why don't I have it? You see the bartender, Durnham. You've exchanged a few words with him, and you seem friendly enough with him.
Wait, that man's supposed to look friendly?
Yeah.
He's a grizzled man. He's based on your conversations with him, he's been in the adventuring scene for a while, and he settled down, being the barkeep of the Yawning Portal, and he seems rather comfortable. But based on previous interactions and how he has interacted with people that get rowdy in the tavern, he will split you in half if you provoke him.
What does his... I'm sure that I've probably seen it happen at least once. So
yes.
What's his preferred method of fighting? Is it like...
He prefers to use his fists, but you know for a fact that he does keep a very large sword behind the counter. You are very certain it's magical. And a crossbow if he can't reach people.
So nowhere is safe.
I like him.
Or at least you can see it as you're safe, because he can beat the crap out of anything that tests him.
So as long as you're on the straight and narrow, you're safe.
Yep. You're at the bar right now. Is there anything your characters want to talk about? Well, actually, this is the perfect time to introduce our characters. So, Amy, why don't you start us off? What does your party see of your character, and what have they shared with their party so far in the time they've known each other?
Okay, so Dare is a tiefling. She's quite young, sort of early 20s. She's fairly average looking, quite pale skin, but dark hair and dark horns. She's usually scruffily dressed and doesn't look like she has a great deal of money. Having said that, if you've known her for any length of time, she will probably have tried to bet with you on absolutely anything going. And she really does like to gamble. That really is her defining trait. The other thing to say is that she's very good at getting drinks out of people. She often has a drink in her hand, but she never seems to have bought it herself.
So let's move on to the next party member. This is, well, even though Waterdeep is a colorful place, we don't get to see that many lizard folks. So, Karta, why don't you tell us about your character?
Yes, so just slumped in his chair, looking completely out of place, because indeed lizard folk they rarely get out of their swamps, to be fair. And this fine specimen, with green scales and orange frills, he's 6'8", so he's quite the appearance anywhere he goes. He wears a whopping leather loincloth. That's it. Well, a bandolier, fine. And a shield on his back, and that's all you can see for equipment he carries. He seems completely uninterested in the world around him. Those who know him know that he is pragmatic. Some people would say without emotions, but, well, it's not like he doesn't care, it's just like he doesn't see the reason for like getting emotional about things, because lizard folk are quite alien like that. What you do know is that he didn't necessarily leave his tribe, as his tribe died, and he's the sole survivor. He's not too forthcoming about why that is, but he's been going around town being a leather worker. Most of the others around the table probably have met him because of some type of leatherworking deal, and I think that's the most important. But one more thing that is important: he doesn't do names. Lizard folk names are all literal descriptions of what they do or what they're good at. And henceforth, his name is Bone Carver, and he has no idea what the names of his companions are. He just calls them whatever seems logical at the moment. One thing he does wear that is like actual, looks like it's nice, is a small necklace, like just a leather rope with 3 very intricately carved bones on them. He has not told anyone what those are about, and that's it for Bone Carver.
So, what would he call Dare?
Ooh, what's Dare again?
The tiefling.
The tiefling. I think as for right now, as he has, eventually he'll probably just give them nicknames based on what they do or how they act. But as they're mostly just drinking buddies at the moment, he'll just call them tiefling, human, and halfling.
Okay.
That's easy. Okay. Fair enough.
Simple.
On just 3 different races.
Okay, moving on to maybe the most regular member of the party. Anima, go ahead and describe your character.
Yeah, so my character is John. He is a barbarian at the moment, but he used to be a fisherman. He is quite tall. I think he's exactly as tall as Bone Carver, 6'8". And he has scruffy black hair, a short scruffy beard. He's quite tanned, and carries a spear and a net around him everywhere. He used to be a fisherman, and he just keeps telling about his exploits, and most of the time you think he's kind of exaggerating a bit. And if he's not talking about his own he's telling about his family, because he has a huge family. He has a wife, 2 sons, and 13 daughters, so that's quite a big family. And he just keeps telling about him. He has this. He is just a very plain tunic. Otherwise, he's not wearing much. And his tunic is like patched up. Some of them are very well patched up, and some of them it looks like he did them. He did himself. And he used to live in a small fishing town. Moved to Waterdeep to earn more money, because fishing just didn't got it for him anymore.
Okay, and finally, we move on to the halfling with glowing eyes in the group.
Yes, hi. This is Marek, halfling sorcerer. So I have done a drawing.
Yes, you have, and when Amy told me that you drew this, I was actually quite surprised. I did not know that you drew this. I thought you got it from like Pinterest or something.
So he's quite average height for a halfling, which is probably minute compared to the other members of the group. They probably tripped over him at some point in the, and that's probably how they met. He likes a drink, hence he has it does show on his face. He's liked drinks in the past. He's a bit of a red nose, red cheeks, and he doesn't know how he became a sorcerer. He just basically woke up one day with sparks coming from his fingers and his house on fire. So that
how
point
fun.
He decided to move away, and he left his home. In general, he's quite quiet. He sort of thinks about things, but he's very forthcoming.
Okay.
And he will trust people quite readily, especially if they're generous in the bar.
Sounds good. I just remember that you're a wild magic sorcerer. Let me just look up really quick when I have to do, or when a spell goes wild. Roll.
Yes, he has bandages on his arms from where he's injured himself with his magic.
Okay, so yeah, I get to choose when it happens.
All right, okay.
Go wrong.
So it just says that whenever I want. Okay.
I can just see the fireball in the first combat.
Okay, so it looks like you guys are just kind of finishing your meal at the moment. Your drinks are almost empty. Is there anything you think your characters would talk about at the moment, or would we like to move on?
Well, I'd like to know who's going to buy me the next drink. I think it's definitely Marek's round.
usually is.
Merrick, do you have any money on you?
I have no idea.
Let me check real quick. You have 5 gold on you. That should be enough.
See, absolutely rolling in it.
5 gold. Screw
How many drinks would that buy?
I'm pretty sure that would buy more than 1 round for everyone. Let me just pull up equipment real quick. How much is a round of drinks? Let's see.
I don't want everyone to know I've got 5 gold.
Well, let's pretend no. Well, the players know. The characters don't necessarily know. That's an important distinction to make.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how much gold my character has.
It is in the double digits. I know that.
It's a little folk. What's he going to spend it
Wow.
on?
John might also be buying around.
Let's just say.
Definitely would not.
So a quick reference
It's going to
in
be a D&D game where we just sit in the pub.
where we just sit in the pub and talk. So a quick rundown on currencies. So there's copper, silver, gold, and platinum. There's technically one between gold and silver, but let's not go there because it makes things confusing. But basically, 10 copper pieces is 1 silver piece. 10 silver pieces is 1 gold piece. 10 gold, 1 platinum. We could say that should you take up Dare's offer, I guess, or maybe a heavy-handed suggestion of buying her around, it would end up costing you about 2 copper per drink, which we could say leaves you with you'd lose 1 gold piece and have 9 silver and 8 copper remaining, assuming you only buy her a drink and no one else.
Right.
I think John would buy everyone a drink.
Oh, you see? Generous man. I like you already.
Sounds good to me.
Well, Carver accepts, but like, sure.
So I'll subtract the money.
Yeah. I'll
That will
let
cost me
you
8 copper, right?
for everyone. Well,
In
it's
total, yeah.
6 copper total.
I'd include myself.
Yeah, 2, 4. 6. Oh yeah, 8. Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad. My math is
I'm
awful.
not- Yeah.
So yeah, 8 copper. You'd probably end up with, I don't know. I'll let you handle that. Like I said, my math is bad.
Enough money.
It really should be just a macro for like buying drinks and accommodations.
Oh yeah, that would be so good.
Because that's those numbers, you're always like, all right, let me get my book.
You guys have a drink, another drink. You probably joke around a bit about a few of your would-be adventures. It's not something too extravagant. Maybe just something funny that happened the other day. Maybe someone tripped over Merrick again, and maybe that's just how you got all that gold. Someone tripped over him, and as an apology, they gave him some gold. Who knows? However, you do start to notice that the ambient noise kind of starts to die down, and a different noise is kind of overpowering all of it. You hear it become eclipsed by a shout. Then you hear this gruff voice going, "You pig, like killing me mates, does ya?" Then you see, well actually, who's the most perceptive of you? Let's go with, Bone Carver. Roll a perception check.
Oh dear.
16. Okay, so what you see, a very tall half-orc. You notice that her skin is pale, and you also notice that a fist has just crashed into her face, knocking her back a few steps. The person who delivered that punch is a... Well, this token looks like a dwarf, but let's pretend it's a human, okay?
Okay. Just this image of this dwarf just
It's
jumping
just a very
up and smashing
short
in the
human.
face.
A strangely short and stout human. You see this human, his head is shaved, and it's also covered with eye-shaped tattoos. So just to clarify, his shaved head is covered with eye-shaped tattoos. And you see 4 other humans behind him, kind of cheering him on. They look ready to jump in if, like, things look bad for him, but you're not entirely sure. Before you actually see the fight proper start, like, a bunch of people just start crowding in. The silence kind of starts being overtaken by, like, cheers and people just kind of goading on this bar fight. So, what do you do?
Bone Carver is unfazed. He looks at it in mild amusement and continues drinking.
What about everyone else?
Well, I would definitely like to go and have a look. This looks like the sort of opportunity to make some money.
By the way, Derek, you do hear someone say, 3 gold on the half-orc!
I'm in there.
Okay.
It's none of our business.
John is like rather hesitant, like, should we step in?
That is up to you guys.
So can we just move any distance?
Yeah, you're not in combat, you're mostly just,
Okay.
you're out of initiative.
I guess I'm going to stand around here, next to the other fine gentleman.
What is that fine gentleman? Is that the bard?
Roll history.
Story. Let's see. Oh. I have no idea who that is.
You have no idea who this man is, but you have noticed that, like, people walk up to him and they talk to him amicably.
Okay, as soon as some of you move over there, I move along, but like I definitely don't look like I'm about to intervene, but I'm just like standing there, bodyguard like, just making sure that the other ones don't get themselves hurt.
Okay.
Everyone stand on a table to have a look.
Yeah, I thought you might have done. You're right in front of me. What are you playing
Just
at?
scoot over and ask, do you need to get on my shoulders?
Okay, you're not choosing to get involved, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when you get a closer look, you do notice that the human that landed the first punch, he's gotten the shit beaten out of him. Getting in a fight with a half-orc was not a good idea, and she is obviously winning. As soon as you get a good look, you can see that she has knocked him out cold. But the moment you see that this human has been essentially removed from the fight, you see his companions rush in at the half-orc. You notice that she is quickly overpowered by the 4 other men and 2 knocked unconscious.
Wait, so did she get knocked unconscious or 2 of the men?
She knocked the one that punched her unconscious, and then the 4 other men rushed in to protect their friend and knocked her unconscious.
Okay.
Do any of your characters react to any of this?
Well, as soon as the other 4 step in, I think John would step in.
Okay. Will anyone else step in with John?
If John's going forward and I'm grunting, we'll follow him.
Yeah, I'm in there.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, does anyone here know Draconic?
No.
Because my character right now is like mudstring and Draconic, so...
Do we want to know what you're saying?
You don't know?
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome.
back.
Do you speak Draconic?
No,
Does
I don't
he?
think he does.
Good.
Which is already being put between the party. Okay. As you guys look like you're about to help out the half-orc, we'll just call them bandits. Let's just say they're bandits for now. I mean, that's not an accurate description of them, but you see them backing away, and they're pulling their unconscious friend out of the fight. You hear one of them... Well, actually, one of you make me a perception check. Anyone?
I'll do it.
Okay. You hear one word of one of them mutter something sort of under their breath. Just loud enough so that the people around them could hear, but like you managed to catch it. You hear the name Krentz.
Grents?
Krentz. Let me write it down for you.
I totally forgot that I need someone to keep notes.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
You see them quickly retreating, and before even Durham can do anything about it. They're already out of the door. So now you're sitting here with an unconscious half-orc on the floor.
Oh, goody.
You see some of the people gathering around, kind of exchanging coin, because she did technically win.
Because the others are gone. I understand. I do check like her vitals and stuff.
Roll a medicine check.
Okay, just a second, as I'm trying to prepare a document for note taking as well. A medicine check. Oh, that should be good.
You manage to sit her down on one of the nearby chairs. She seems to be coming to. You got her at like 1 HP. She doesn't look good to talk at the moment. But you know she's gonna live. Probably gonna be feeling it for a few days, but she should be fine.
Is she conscious then?
That's basically all my character wants to know.
Barely conscious.
I think she could use a drink.
Right when you say that, you notice a noise coming from the hole in the middle of the tavern.
I step around.
Everyone make a perception check.
Ooh.
Okay. So, John, Merrick, and Bone Carver.
Mm-hmm.
You notice a little. I'd say you've probably sort of heard this noise before, like when you're out at night and you hear bats. The flapping of like membraney wings. Maybe a few screeches. And you notice it coming from the hole, and moments, or more like a few seconds later, you see something at the bottom. You see several things. You see these small creatures flittering around, but that doesn't really catch your attention. You notice something else, something much larger. The first thing that catches your eye are these bright, glowing eyes. You start hearing other people scream as you see these long, bony fingers clasp themselves around the plank that leads into the hole. And you see this green, the sickly green flesh on these arms. And as the large creature pulls itself out, you can see it clearly now. It's a monster with warty green skin, a tangled nest of just this wiry black hair, and a long, pointy nose. Bloodshot eyes dart around the tavern as it bars its just teeth that are dripping with this viscous saliva. Everyone in the tavern just reacts in fear, and the barkeep Durnham just yells one word: troll. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Surprise!
Right.
You guys are lucky that troll rolled really bad initiative.
So I rolled a 17. Can you add that manually?
Roll nature if you want to know more about those smaller tokens.
Nature. Okay. Nope.
You have no idea what these things are. All you know is that these small rat-like things were attached to the troll a few seconds ago. You actually see 3 more attached to the troll, but these were kind of bloated, and you see them quickly detach themselves and fly back down to the darkness. So at the moment, you see these 3 creatures flying around the troll, and you're not entirely sure if they're hostile or not, but, well, that's it, actually, with that roll. Before this fight proper starts, you see Durnham reach out behind the counter and take out this large greatsword. So let's begin. First in the order, Bone Carver. As you appear to be the first one to take initiative in this combat. You hear Durnham call out. You hear Durnham call out, "Take out the small ones, I'll go for the troll!" So what do you do?
How big are the squares?
5 feet each. Yeah, there's a ruler. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares down.
I can stand here?
You can. I would be careful because you're close to the edge, or you'd be on the edge there.
Yeah. So my character can stand here, like muttering, "We could also just, run." And he will hold an action. If anything tries to get past him, to get near his drinking buddies, he will bite it.
Okay. So what Karto just did was hold an action. What you can do is if you feel like something, you can't really do anything, or if you want to like wait for something to trigger your action, you can hold an action, and you basically state what you want to hold and tell the DM what triggers it. So in this situation, he said if anything looks like they're going to hurt their drinking buddies, he will bite them. And so he's holding his bite attack for something that might hurt him or his drinking buddies. Okay, so next on the order, Merrick.
We've been told the barman will go after the troll. We'll take a bat thing. They'll get to us first.
Sounds good.
So
8 on Firebolt. Let me see if that hits. I don't know why I closed the character sheet on this. Well, so
a miss could be disastrous.
Maybe.
This place is soaked with alcohol.
So let's start with something flavor-wise. What's the color of your magic?
Yellow.
Yellow. Okay, so this yellow orb of fire just flies out of your hand. And that's it. It flies, and it just kind of arcs downward. Kind of like a softball that you threw with, like, barely any force. And it just falls into the darkness.
Okay.
Do you have anything that looks like it could use a bonus action? If not, that's fine. You can still move around, and end your turn.
I don't think so. I'll just stay where I am, I think.
Okay. So, next on the order. John, what would you like to do?
Okay, so John moves next to Bone Carver. He puts an arm on his shoulder and says, "Sorry, buddy, Jumpfish doesn't run." And he takes a javelin and throws it at the closest bat.
Okay, go ahead and roll for an attack. 17 will hit.
Good.
Let me just check something.
Okay, do I roll damage in the meantime?
Yes, roll damage.
Okay.
Okay, so you throw a javelin, and you see pretty much that, like, the blade of it was too big for the actual Sturge to be impaled by it, and it kind of like explodes, and the javelin just kind of lands here on the wall, and it's just kind of impaled. So that Sturge is dead.
Very good Sturge.
Well, that was a pushover.
Noticing
like
that
catching fish.
noticing that one of its maybe family members, we don't know, they're probably in the same family, one of its companions just got obliterated. It's going to swoop in after you, and you see this needle come out from its mouth, and it dives in to impale you with it. 13 to hit.
That misses.
Okay, so you manage to evade it just in time. You kind of feel its wing brush against your ear. It kind of leaves a creepy sensation up your spine, but otherwise you're fine.
Nothing.
Okay. Next in the order, you see one of the Sturges swoop in after Bone Carver. Did your held action count for yourself as well?
Yes.
Okay, then you can go ahead and release your held action for a bite, so you can go ahead and roll that attack.
I'm guessing that hits.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage. You now have a mouth full of dead sturge.
Ugh.
I just chew and swallow.
Okay.
I'm standing right next to you, right? I
don't
turn away in
care.
disgust.
Take a point of inspiration, Bone Carver. You can mark inspiration on your character sheet.
I noticed. Great.
Yeah, for staying true to your character. And I mean, like, it's food.
Mm.
So,
Just slice into your mouth.
yep. So that's 2 Sturges dead. Dare, you're up.
Okay, I think Dare would definitely stick it with a sword.
Okay, then you can go ahead and walk up to it. Roll for an attack, with whichever weapon you want to. Go ahead and roll damage. Okay, so you just shove your sword right in the area where it's about to fly, and you pretty much have the Sturge limp on your blade. So you have a Sturge now, a dead one.
Does
You can
anyone
choose.
want this?
Yes.
Feel free.
I'll leave it as a free action to just slide it off your sword and give it to Bone Carver.
I put it in my bag for later consumption.
I completely forgot to add Durnham to the initiative, so I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, he's 5 in the initiative, so that makes
Ooh.
sense.
So you didn't actually forget it. Just wasn't his turn yet.
Yep. Okay, so next up is the Sturge that got exploded, so his turn is nothing. Durnham and the troll actually have the same initiative. So what Durnham's gonna do is he's gonna rush up to this table. The troll is gonna run over here, and Durnham will close the rest of the gap, and he's going to attack. He's going to take his large sword and swing it, and you see the blade connect with the creature's flesh. You see this large gash just rip open, just straight through his chest. You see this green viscous blood pour out. It sprinkles across the floor a bit, and the troll will take 11 points of damage. This troll kind of started off not looking too good, but it's looking much worse for wear. However, the troll will try to attack now in retaliation, and he will try to bite Durnham, and he will succeed in this bite. You see the troll's teeth just sink into Durnham's shoulder, and while he's at it, he's going to try and rake his claws down Durnham's chest.
He's got anger issues.
And all 3 hit.
Ouch.
So let me just check Durnham's HP. Okay.
Would be very sad if he died. Just in the first combat.
So Durnham's not dead. He's taken beatings before. But you do see that, let me just calculate all this, because this was a lot of attacks. So while Durnham seems to be alright, relatively speaking, you do know that, like, had any of you suffered this attack, probably would have meant instant death for any of you. Next up, Bone Carver.
Uh-huh. Right. So, seeing that, I go over here. And I tell Durnham, whatever his name is, Durnham, I'll leave the fighting to you. And then I touch him, and like this just grey light just washes over him. Wherever his wounds are, this ghastly butterflies seem to take wing before disappearing into the air. I cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. He regains 4 health points.
That was pathetic. I think I rolled a 1 there.
Yeah, you did. Okay, well that
Also, I
finish your
have
turn?
my shield equipped now, just in case.
Okay. So, next up, John.
I'm going to stand, slightly behind Turnham. Yep.
I think that's technically still adjacent to the troll.
I'm not sure. Count.
Could stand on the table.
You can,
Yep,
you can
I?
stand on the
Yeah,
table
I'll
if you
stand
want.
on the table then. And I'll use my bonus action to extend the reach of my spear and poke the troll.
Okay, roll for an attack.
Oh. Well, so much for that.
You try.
As you go in to stab him with the spear, the troll easily evades it, but not just that, he catches it with his hand, and he will yank it off of you. Roll a strength check.
I can do strength checks. But I'm not raging.
So it wouldn't be at advantage.
Well, there you go.
You manage to hold on to your spear,
Well,
and you pull it back. So you still have your spear. Is there anything else you would like to do?
I would like to say just, unicorn wheels are much stronger than that.
Okay, Merrick, you're
I
up.
think the troll needs a fireball.
That sounds good. Yeah.
I'm going to hope that the story about trolls being weak to fire is true. Just go for it. And hope
Okay.
I can actually do something now.
That's gonna hit. Roll for damage. Okay, so you manage your firebolt flies, and it doesn't fall short this time. It actually lands on the target. In fact, it also hits him right where Durnham slashed him. And you see the fire landing on the wound has made the green ooze stop flowing, and you also see the skin somewhat blackening around the cut. It looked like it hurt him a lot. And from this point, it does look like that the stories about fire being especially effective on trolls was actually true, or at least it will help you in some way.
Good.
If you want to know more on that, you can roll an Arcana check if you want. You know it has something to do. You know that trolls are very hard to take down because they can regenerate. And based on what you just saw, you were able to deduce that fire prevents that process. Next on the order are the dead Sturges, so we're moving on to Dare. Dare, what would you like to do?
Do we know what Marek has just learned about fire?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Merrick can share it to you as a free action if he wants to.
Yes, fire stops it healing. Basically.
You now know.
Can I set an arrow on fire and shoot it?
Not the arrows you have at the moment.
Okay.
And trying to set something on fire will require a tool or maybe some form of magic if you have it. Alternatively, you could tell Merrick to maybe set something on fire for you, but that would be more coordinated.
Dangerous.
and it would take some time.
Okay, I was thinking there might be like candles on the table or something that I could use.
No lit candles at the moment.
Okay, in that case, I will, having seen what it did to Durnham, I'm going to keep my distance for now and shoot an arrow.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll for an attack. Okay, roll damage. Okay, so, since you are a rogue, and since an ally is next to your enemy, you can roll sneak attack, because Durnham does count as an ally. Okay, so
Nice.
you deal 10 damage to the
Okay.
troll. And as traditional D&D terminology, this troll is looking pretty rough. Okay, so it's Durnham's turn now. He's going to try and attack it again with his greatsword, and that is going to miss. So he swings. This time the troll knows to look out for it. He evades out of the way. It's the troll's turn now. He's going to try and 3-strike Durnham again. That's going to hit. So again, he sinks his teeth into Durnham's other shoulder. He's going to rake both claws at him again. All 3 of those hit Durnham. Let's see how you're looking, Durnham. Okay. You see Durnham kind of starting to worry a little bit. He didn't expect this troll to be so... He didn't expect this troll to roll so high in all of its attacks. Bone Carver, you're up.
Right. Bone Carver is looking a bit annoyed at the whole situation, and he touches one of the bones on his necklace, but there's something draconic, and he basically he casts a spell, or And behind the troll is this ghastly image of some lizard folk stabbing it. So basically I am casting Bane.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, that's a D4 subtracted to attack rolls or saving throws from this creature from now on.
If he fails his charisma saving throw.
So what's the DC on that?
13.
13.
Trolls are known to be very charismatic.
He definitely fails.
So yes, now he suffers a D4 on every attack roll and saving row as long as I keep this spell up. So that's 1 minute, it's 10 rounds, as long as I can keep my concentration.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Yeah, no.
Okay. John, you're up.
I'm going to try that spear attack. I will rage. I'm annoyed at this troll, so I will rage.
Okay.
And that means I have to, and I will stab him with my spear. I can't really do. Well, I can roll the attack roll.
Yes, that'll hit. Roll damage.
Yeah. So now I get to add 2 to that, and I have no idea how to do that. So I'll just roll damage.
Yeah, roll damage and just add
And
to
then
it,
add
and I'll
2.
take into account.
Yeah, exactly. That's 11 damage.
He is on the brink of death.
Oh dear.
Will that be your turn?
That's my turn.
Okay, Merrick, you're up. This troll just took a spear through the chest, and he looks close to just losing consciousness as it is.
More fire.
More fire. More fire. Okay, 9 is not gonna hit, unfortunately.
We just need more practice.
Yeah. It splashes up against a stone pillar in the tavern. Fortunately, it doesn't set anything on fire, so you're fine in that regard, I suppose. Dare, you're up.
Well, if this troll is really on its last legs, I am going for the final blow. Death or glory. How do
Sounds
I know
good to me.
How do I know how far I can move, by the way?
It should be your speed.
Right.
So
yes.
normally
okay.
it's 30 and every square is 5 feet. So
Yeah.
your speed is 30 feet. So you can move like 6 squares in theory, I believe.
We should be able to get up to it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, just go around, maybe not over the hole.
Just
Oh, it's only a short jump.
Let's do this. I'm having a good night.
That'll hit.
Nice.
Plus
Okay.
1d6, right?
Yes.
Again.
I said I was having
Wow.
a good night.
Wow.
So, Dare. How do you want to kill this thing?
I would like to shove my rapier through its throat.
Okay. When you shove the rapier through its throat, and you can feel a bit of resistance, maybe you've run into some bone, but like with just a little bit more coaxing, you just go all the way through. And the troll falls limp and to the floor. It kind of takes your rapier with it. However, you do notice that it's twitching. While it's limp, it is still twitching. I'm going to put you guys out of initiative right now. You do notice Durnham take a nearby lamp. It's not lit, but he does take out the oil and he pours it on the troll. Then he takes out a match and just drops it on the body, and then you see the troll twitch again and convulse, and it screeches, "Rah!" and it just drops limp. It's not twitching anymore, and you're quite certain it's dead now. You can go ahead and retrieve your rapier if you want.
Yes, I would like to do that, please.
Is the troll beast or monstrosity?
That's a good question. Let me check. It's actually a giant.
Basically, can I use this?
I'll allow it.
Excellent. I'm just sitting there, just carving away at the troll, looking for just cutting it open, completely unaware of the people around me.
Oh.
Just looking at bones, and if they're not good enough, I chuck them into the hole. And like the big, sturdy, nice bones, I keep. And as soon as I'm basically done pulling out all of its bones, I make a javelin.
Let's pause halfway into that. When Durnham cleans off the troll blood from his blade, he turns to you all, and He says, "You all goodness, man, what are you doing?"
Not wasting any valuable parts. And I go on.
And then he says, "Just throw it down the hole once you're done, at least."
Sure.
Now that you guys just helped Durham take down a troll, you have a few moments to maybe group together, maybe talk about what just happened before we move on, I guess you could say. So if you guys want to mention anything about the fight.
Does this mean we drink here for free now?
I would also like to know that.
Well, you did fight well. That's at least worth a round.
Extremely well.
So especially you, madam.
I think that's got to be worth at least 2 rounds.
Fine.
Try to heal him,
The next few rounds are on me for your party.
Okay, so
But
John
currently
will
my
ask-
character is just completely engrossed in his task.
so John basically yanks his javelin out of the wall, and he says, "So this thing is called a troll, right?"
Aye, that's a troll.
Good.
Nasty.
I will remember. I will need to tell stories of my exploits fighting a troll.
This one would be a true one, John.
All of my stories happened.
Yes, of course, John. Yes, of course.
By the way, is this course big enough to get 2 javelins?
Given its size, I'd say go ahead and take 3.
Ooh.
Three bone javelins.
So just Bone goes like, these bones make fine javelins. Yes.
I think I might be on the verge of losing whatever I ate earlier today.
Okay. People are gathering around now. And you hear whispers like, "They just took down a troll. Did you fucking see that?" And you're pretty certain that you'll be the talk of the town at least, maybe for a day or 2. Not saying that this is a common occurrence, but trolls suddenly appearing will get you some reputation for at least a little bit until someone does something more crazy. However, you do notice that the man you were standing next to earlier kind of pushes through the crowd. We'll pretend that he's pushing through a big crowd here.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks up to all of you, and then he says, "Oh, magnifique! You're all adventurers, right?" He kind of refers to the entirety of the group.
I'm still
Yep,
chipping away at
adventurers
bones.
we are.
If you're offering us money, we are.
I'm offering you, yes, much money. But maybe we should talk at the table. Maybe a place more comfortable and away from. Then he glances over at Bone Carver, just ripping out the creature's bones.
Every now and then, I stick a piece of troll meat in my mouth. If it doesn't look too charred.
Maybe once we've cleaned up. Yeah. And he goes back to this table. So you can approach him once all of you are done with your activities.
I think Bone Carver, we're looking at you here.
What, me? Bone Carver is completely oblivious to any wrongdoing.
We could also just go and, talk and come back later for Bone Carver. He
That's an
looks
option.
busy.
Okay, are we leaving him here?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to the table.
We're going to the table.
Okay.
Right.
Do we check on the orc on the way past?
She seems much better. She doesn't feel like in the mood to talk at the moment. But she does stop one of you, probably John. She says, "I hear that you kind of helped me out when those guys kind of swarmed me.
Yes.
if they didn't surprise me, I probably would have had them. But I appreciate it nonetheless.
Well, it was an unfair fight, 4 against 1.
Still, I could have gotten them, but still, I appreciate it. Yagra Stonefist,
John.
and she offers her hand.
Just John. And I shake it. And I will ask Durham if she can have a beer.
Durham nods and grabs beers for everyone. And then he goes back to the counter. And to mostly nurse the wounds he has sustained.
Dedicated.
So, as you approach Volo, or actually, everyone that's at the table roll history.
Well, that's one thing John isn't very good at.
Neither is Marek, apparently.
Okay, so Dare, it takes you a while, but then you suddenly realize who this man is. He is none other than the famous Volothamp Gidarm, or Volo for short, as some people call him. You know that he is a man of many talents, but one of the talents he's most known for is his writing of the book known as Volo's Guide to Monsters. So he's known as somewhat of a pseudo-celebrity, I guess you could say, at least among adventurers, because they do revere his writings for it being particularly helpful in their adventures. So as you approach him, he strokes his mustache and adjusts his floppy hat and tightens his scarf. He offers his hand and he says, Volothamp Gadarm, chronicler, wizard, and celebrity at your service. I trust you've noted the violence in our fair city these past 10 days. I haven't seen so much blood since my last visit to Baldur's Gate. But now I fear I have misplaced a friend amid this odious malevolence. You see his face kind of grow a little bit grim. The job I have for you. You see, I have the friend that went missing. Name is Floon Blagmar. He's got more beauty than brains, I'll admit, and I worry he took a bad way home a couple nights ago and was kidnapped. Or worse, I fear. If you agree to track him down, with all due haste, I can offer you 10 dragons apiece now, and I can give you each 10 times what you find Floon. A little pause here. You know that in Waterdeep, currency is called somewhat different things, but you know that dragons is the word they use for gold. So he is saying he would give each of you 10 gold apiece should you accept the quest. So returning to Volo, may I prevail upon you in my hour of need?
So John is just counting on his fingers. So 10 gold now, 10 dragons now, and 10 times as much later. That makes... And he just...
100 gold each.
Is this price negotiable?
Make a persuasion check. I'm sorry, miss. I could probably bump it up, maybe 5 more gold, but that's as far as I'm willing to go.
Okay.
I do need to give it to each of you after all.
Okay, that's acceptable to me.
Magnifique. So, Volo gives each of you a small pouch containing 10 gold for just accepting his quest. Do any of you want to inquire about anything relating to this quest, or maybe you want to discern his intentions? That is something you can also do.
I don't think John would want to discern his intentions. Kind of trust him.
I would.
I would.
Okay, make an insight check.
I'll leave it as that.
Okay. And Merrick isn't gonna roll insight? Okay.
He has no idea
Ouch.
what's going on.
Dare, you, however, you can discern that Volo is being mostly honest with you. But you're not entirely sure about the particular area when he said he would pay 105 gold to each of you. You feel like he's good for the gold. I mean, he's famous after all. But you feel like something's hidden behind the particular offer. You're not entirely sure what, though. You do know that, like, as an author, he must get royalties for his work. And you did hear a few rumors about another book he's working on, which is Volo's Guide to Spirits and Specters.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Volo continues on his description of the task at hand. He describes Floon for you. He describes him as a handsome human male in his early 30s, wavy red blonde hair. He was dressed in garb you might describe as princely, at least when Volo last saw him. 2 nights ago, before Floon disappeared, he and Volo were drinking and merrymaking at the Skewered Dragon, a dark body tavern in the Dockward. Volo recommends that the characters start their search there. You can ask a few more questions, if you like, before heading out to the Dockward.
I'd like to know
Well,
how he knows his friend has gone missing. Has he had any contact from him?
Well, you see, I was having a bit of writer's block. I'm not sure if you know of it, but sometimes us writers can't write when we need it the most, so we go off to do some things, maybe to occupy our mind. So I met Floon at the Skewered Dragon 2 nights ago. We drank and gambled for a few hours, and then I left. That was last I saw of him. But when I went to his place to see if he was doing all right, because we did drink a bit, he wasn't there. In fact, it didn't look like he came home at all. And I know for a fact with that, as you know, roll history actually. You know that lately there have been a lot of fights among gangs. You know that it has to do with the Xanathar Guild and the Zentarim. But beyond that, you don't really know that much. You know that the Xanathar Guild is led by none other than the infamous Xanathar, who is a beholder and a crime lord. You know that he is wanted for many things, or at least accused of many things. The guards can't really pin him down on anything, and on top of that, they have a lot of trouble trying to just find him. Also, being a beholder, like, no one really wants to mess with you. Okay, are there...
I still do have one question. I literally turned this troll inside and out. Did it have anything on him?
Or in him.
I mean, if he had anything on him, I will have found it.
You find the skull of what you assume to be a digested halfling.
Oh, I'm keeping that.
Aww.
I didn't know him.
A digested and very unfortunate halfling.
That can make a good cup.
I don't think anyone notices this, but I'm just crowding it into my back.
Do you toss the troll corpse down the well,
Once
or
I'm
what's
done,
left of it?
yes.
Or do you want to harvest more things from it?
Well, I got 3 javelins, all the other bones weren't good enough. I got that nice little skull, I got some dinner, so the rest is too charred to be used. So I'm tossing that down.
Okay, John will help you then. Troll corpse seems heavy.
Sounds good.
And I'll pass Bone Carver his 10 gold.
Ah,
For
he
accepting
just
the
looks at this
quest.
and, like, What have you accepted now?
There's
You're
money
fine.
in it, friend.
Yep.
Money does not just...
You can
Money
go
will
ahead
buy
and
you ale.
relay-
And you hear him muttering Draconic again.
Money will
You
buy
can
you
go
ale.
ahead and though you still have free drinks from Durnham. At least a handful. He's running a business after all. I'd say I will not recap things with Karto, because it'll be more realistic if you guys just tell him what you picked up.
Because all I know now is that I got 10 gold, we're probably going to do something dangerous.
Yes.
Maybe.
Well,
I
maybe.
haven't written any of that conversation down because my character knows none of it.
By the way,
Y-
Bone Carver, there's still some bat wings stuck between your teeth.
Ah, thanks. Would you like a piece of that?
No, thank you. I'll pass. You can have an ale though to wash it down.
That might be a good idea.
And with that, we close our session for today.